And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Joe Soro is out and about. He was working hard yesterday, working hard for Simblades. Simblades with the Y.com, and also, of course, as Ox1947 at LakersBall.com. Of course, our good friends Jamie Sweet and Laker Tom, they're the Lakerholics crew, Lakerholics.com. John Costa's Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. Go ahead and follow those great channels on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Stone Hansen has been tweeting about the Lakers all day. Go ahead and join him on Twitter at report_court on Twitter. Also, of course, our good friends Empire Jeff TV, a Lakers in 5. John McCalian channel. Please go ahead and support all those great channels. Plus also as well, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Also as well, of course, please go ahead and make sure you support us right here with a like and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcasts. That is correct, Casey. J24, the Lakers were back in action this afternoon or evening to the folks out in the East Coast and all around the world, different parts of the world that got a chance to see the Lakers once again in Summer League action, this time against the Miami Heat. Took a nice lead early, fell down, though, in the second quarter. Took a little comeback there in the third and got control, up by a double-digit lead. But up by 8 in the fourth quarter, they gave up the last 12 points. And unfortunately, couldn't get the job done as they lose all 3 games in the California Classic as they head to Las Vegas this weekend with an 80-76 loss to the Miami Heat. I do want to go ahead and say, first off, Dalton Knecht. Now, you're probably looking at the stats and saying, 2 of 8 from 3, 7 of 18 overall, 20 points, 9 rebounds. He did look more comfortable out there, but there's still a lot more work to go, a lot more to go ahead and progress through. But the signs are there, at least offensively. Defensively, it looks like it's going to be a struggle for him. Colin Castleton looked a little bit more solid in the middle today, even though still driving to the basket is an issue for him, but still his interior passing, his passing on the elbows looked pretty solid, and his rebounding against a team that did not have Khalil Ware in the lineup looked pretty good. 18 points, 11 rebounds, 7 of 13. Tommy Kuhse, everybody's favorite that's been watching Summer League, still the gritty veteran who's heading back to Italy after time in Summer League is done. 9 points for him. Also, as well, of course, Maxwell Lewis. A lot of being said about Maxwell Lewis, especially by our own Stone Hansen online in regards to him. At one time, over the course of 2 games, he was 0 of 18. But in the second half of today's game, made it a little bit more palpable. Finally went for the game, 5 of 15, 14 points, 8 rebounds. Defensively, though, still a struggle as, yes, he does have long arms and can deflect passes, and I saw that as trying to get steals, but his Matador defense at times was kind of frustrating to watch as both him and Knecht were really bad out in the perimeter as far as their defense is concerned. What's up, Jeff? Hopefully all is well with you, my friend. Empire Jeff TV, as always, please subscribe to his channel and give that some love. Gerald, is Joe coming on? I'm not sure. He said he's out in the heat right now in Temecula, still working, so we'll see. Said he would try to make it in for the next hour. And then later on tonight, we'll come back with a longer show with a recap of Team USA versus Canada. That we're looking forward to do later tonight. Adam Hurley says, Hinson is the perfect example why I hate guys that just shoot threes. Yes, there was a couple of very ill-advised 3 attempts by Hinson. He has not seen a shot he doesn't like. Conscious, I don't think he does have a conscious I don't know if it will get him into the league, but 1 of 8 shooting today. We'll see. He probably will try to light up the G League, whether or not it translates into the big club or the big league. We'll see what happens. But let's focus on Dalton Knecht. Again, at times he looked a lot more comfortable, a lot more relaxed. His stroke looked a lot better, more comfortable, although late he had a pretty good elbow jumper, good look at an elbow jumper, and unfortunately could not get it done. Not even close. So kind of discouraged there, the chance to tie the game. And unfortunately, he didn't get it done there. But I will say again, the Lakers 0-3, a little bit better performance today. They still lose 80-76. And at times, it seemed like the Lakers had control of this game. Colin Castleton, again, at the elbow, providing some good passing, being able to go ahead and find backdoor cutters underneath. Maxwell Lewis in the first half struggled mightily. I think he went 0 for 10, if I'm not mistaken, but he found a way to get a little bit better with his drives in the second half. It's clear he doesn't have much confidence in his outside shot. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be a work in progress. As Stone said, he needs another year in the G League to go ahead and develop his game, which is really tough to say. Roy, I don't know how anyone is staying cool in Vegas. We have hit a high several days in a row, record temperatures, and not in a good way here. There. So, yeah, it was 118 today, 120, 21 yesterday. My car said 122 yesterday. Today it's at about 119. So you can take for that what you want. But Team USA, speaking of Las Vegas, is playing later tonight. The Summer League starts this weekend, and we'll obviously be all over it right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Starting tonight, as far as for the post game, right here for Team USA versus Canada. Looking forward to seeing how LeBron, AD, the rest of Team USA perform against Canada in the first exhibition, friendly as it were, tonight in Las Vegas. Carlos Pinero says late in the fourth, Connect 4 looked overexcited in his own head. Was he trying to hard? From what I see, his thoughts. I could just tell you again, at times, Carlos, especially in that first half, he started to look really comfortable with the ball, what to do. It was a good look at the end, just overshot it. And his defense is what's really going to concern me, Carlos, because it looks like eventually he will get his shot down. What will keep him in the league, what will keep him out in the court is his defense. If his defense becomes even passable, that will be a good thing for the Lakers. But right now, it's very much a work in progress. I'm pretty sure you saw all the people that were blowing by both him and also as well Maxwell Lewis at the small shooting guard, small forward position. Those guys at the wings really having their day against those two guys. So I know Connect's case, Knecht really does have a good stroke when he just seems, it looks like it's more comfortable. So I really think that he is going to have to be able to focus on his defense in order to stay out there on the floor. And of course, I did not forget Bronny James. Bronny James was so funny because there was tweeted out there, and I retweeted it, that the starting lineup was not going to have Bronny James, but it did have Bronny James. And Bronny James was out there. Contrary to the rumors, at times he was not very visible out there. Again, a situation, and this is just saying it out there because Maxwell Lewis last year at times looked like he was just invisible out there in the court, not doing much. Wasn't given much of an opportunity to run the ball, get good looks. Only 1 of 3 points. But I did like the fact with him that whenever the ball would go to his man, the hands, Bronny does have good hands. Good guy getting steals, deflections. I really think that's the part of his game. Okay, on his man-to-man ball defense, I think that's still something he needs to shore up a little bit better, but he was feisty at times. But yeah, again, on the offensive and defense, again, he just at times disappeared and was not really active enough in my liking as far as whatever offenses they were running. I know a lot of it was predominantly for Knecht, but I would have liked to have seen more actions for Bronny to see what's going on with him and his development. But again, that's going to take a lot of time, a work in progress if that's the case. What's going on, everybody? Again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is the post game. The Lakers unfortunately lose the third game in the California Classic, 80-76. It is Gerald Glassford. Truly appreciate you joining us right here. Again, I'll be on here for a little while longer before we come on later tonight after Team USA and Team Canada. Cool Bro asks, how is Knecht doing in the Summer League? Well, it's been a work in progress. It's been pretty rough at times. Let's not beat around the bush on that. I will say, though, that, again, at times today, he looked more comfortable out there in the offense, especially the first half. But they are running a lot of plays for him. They are giving him a lot of looks in the offense. He's going to have to hit those shots a little bit more frequently than what he's doing. His percentages aren't really good as of yet, but the stroke does look good. The form does look good. He needs to get his free throws a little bit more in sync because he, obviously as a shooter, he needs to go ahead and perfect that a little bit better than what he's been doing lately. And then his defense has been subpar. So defense, absolutely, that is something he needs to focus on and be more passable on, because I think the 3-point shooting will come in time. From what I'm seeing, it looks very good. The stroke looks good. They're going to start falling. But his defense, not letting people by so easily, is what I'm worried about right now. Legend 350, what's up, Matt? How you doing? Let me know, Legend, if you want to stop on and share some thoughts so far on Summer League. If you want to come in on this now, let me know, and I'll send you the link, my friend. But also, again, it is, of course, Gerald Glassford. Truly appreciate you doing it. So, Gerald, I got good news. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. That's good for you, CB. But Yvonne says Dalton looks terrible. I know it's just Summer League, but he doesn't even look like he can hang with that talent. I don't know if he's not had really a lot of great moments. He did look better in the first half today, but defensively, I'm not going to argue with you, Ivan. I'm not going to argue with you there at all. That defensively, he does have to pick up a lot more intensity on that end of the floor. Because if he's not going to even play passable defense in Summer League, what will happen when he gets to start playing against real NBA players on an every night basis? That is the problem I have for you out there. Alan says, Gerald, any concern Vando still rehabbing his injury? Reports our Lakers are shopping him. Concerned this injury is quite serious. I just think it's funny, Alan, because you gave him a 4-year contract with him already having issues. At that time, if you remember last year, he was already having health issues in training camp and was already starting then. Yet you committed to him for 4 years. I think it's hilarious that that's the case, Alan. It's another mistake by Rob Pelinka, and it's very disappointing. Legend, I'll send you a link. Absolutely. Coming up for you, my friend. So I will go ahead and send that to you now. Once again, it is, of course, Gerald Glassford. Great for everyone to be here. The Lakers, unfortunately, lose 80-76. Going to bring on the Legend 350, _Legend 350 on YouTube, going ahead and sharing his thoughts on Summer League as well. Not just for the Lakers, but everything out there. Of course, everybody has fallen in love with, of course, Zach Edey after one game. He did, and this is not a joke, on several gambling sites move up to the top of the odds for Rookie of the Year voting. So the only question I would have for Zach Edey is the ones I was having before the draft. Is he going to be able to stay out on the floor? Are teams going to play him off the floor because of what he is athletically not able to do on the defensive end? Guard out on the perimeter. Is he always going to be in drop coverage? Is that going to be a problem for Memphis? Offensively, you can see he's going to be a beast as far as being able to, with the strength that he has. Yeah, that's something. Again, Memphis looks like it, may have a good pick on its hands. We'll wait and see. But again, will he be played off the floor at the wrong time? So that's the thing. Kurt says Zach Edey for MVP. I would not go that far, Kurt, but yeah. Did I hear about Kyrie? Yes, I did. Cool, bro. Yes, I did. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Adam says you can't teach 7-4. Edey will be good. We'll see, Adam. Again, it all depends on when you're talking about Edey. Will you be able to utilize him in a playoff setting or down the stretch, or will teams just go 5 out and get him off the floor? That's the thing. I think that when you have a guy that size, that's why the concerns were there in the first place. It was how athletic can he be for you? How much can he contribute if teams are going to go ahead and go small on him and try to run him off the floor? But we'll see. Again, I'm all the best to him, and I'm hoping he does well, and hoping he does earn his paycheck for the number 9 pick that he was with Memphis. Gene says, do you think Fire Pelinka would make a difference as long as the Buss family owns the team? It depends, Gene. Who do you get in the slot at GM and vice president? Who do you put in there? If you just put the Busses in there, if you move the Ramby over, if you get someone who's not experienced in that job, you're going to have the same issues all over again, Gene. But that's an excellent question, and I really appreciate you asking that. I'm still hoping that Tim Connelly, remember, Tim Connelly in Minnesota built the Minnesota and Denver teams. He has an out after next season. They have not signed him or committed to a long-term contract because he's been uncertain, or been obviously, but like all of us, been watching what's going on with the Minnesota ownership battle. So he is only committed to 1 more year. If you could get him next summer, I think that would be great. Or with Rob Pelinka, I think Rob Pelinka getting moved would be great. Just who do you put him in there that's going to make the difference? It's going to make the right moves, because right now you've got a team. Rob Pelinka has bungled his way to pin the Lakers against the wall. They're right at the second tax apron, so they can't really make any moves that are going to be more expensive for them. Otherwise, they go back in the second tax apron. They had to go back and ask and beg LeBron to get a pay cut, which I don't think was the best conversation in the world. And then you're going to have, you went ahead and the re-signs, you gave all those players that, those marginal players that didn't really help you last season. You gave them all the option to pick them up, and they all picked them up. And now you're stuck with 15 players, 3 two-ways, and a salary, a team cap that's right up against that second tax apron. So you've got almost zero maneuverability. It takes skill or lack thereof as a general manager, vice president, player personnel, whatever you want to call Rob Pelinka, to go ahead and do that. I think he's done a terrible job, and I think we're really feeling the effects of it right now. So yes, anybody coming in there would be great, but what is that person going to do? What's the vision for that new person coming in place? Even if, Jeannie Buss still has control and ownership, I think you can still get around that if you let Jeannie know that, hey, I'm going to run this team. I'm going to go ahead and make the decisions, and we're going to go ahead and make this thing happen. Brenton says, do you think Trent Jr. wants to play in this daddy daycare drama? Brenton, that's a good question. I know GTJ would be a good option for the Lakers, but they got to move people first. We have to do something. I mean, if you don't like the fact that Maxwell Lewis over the course of 2 games went 0 for 18 and you think that deal is done, that ship has sailed, you need to go ahead and make the decision to move these people in there. And with Joe Soro is coming in. Hey, man, how you doing?
Hey, G, what's up? I went a little longer than I thought I would at work. Wasn't able to catch most of the game, but I did catch the ending, and I wish I hadn't.
Yeah, you caught the wrong part of the game, unfortunately, the fourth quarter meltdown where the Lakers gave up the last 12 points to lose the game 80-76. Again, I know that a lot of people are concerned, especially on the defensive end when it comes to Knecht, but he looked on the offensive end a little bit more comfortable, especially in that first half, Joe.
Yes, I thought he had his best game out of the 3, and he's the only real NBA player on the team, honestly. I know that there's some guys that are tweeners. Castleton was might have a chance, but as of right now, Dalton's the only guy that on that team that's going to get NBA minutes that's earned. And it's unfortunate because that last shot that he missed that could have, quote unquote, maybe won the game. I mean, he missed that one pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the one that really disappointed me, Joe, because that was a good look at the elbow, clean look, and he flat out overshot it. And that's the thing. He can't do that. These are the reasons why the Lakers drafted him. and he's definitely going to have to go ahead and shore that up. But Castleton, he looks good against smaller competition, but let's see what happens when you've got size in there. And here today also to discuss what's going on with the Summer League. Good man indeed. Joe looks like he has lost transmission on the freeway as he's heading home, but I know Joe will be on tonight again for the post game for Team USA versus Canada, which you are also, Legend, is welcome to come back to. And that's going to be later tonight after that game. But it is the Legend 350. My friend, always great to have you here. First off, we'll touch on the Lakers game, but then your thoughts on Summer League, your observations as a whole. I know it's been limited with the number of teams that are out there. Not all of them are playing. It's just the Rocky Mountain game, Rocky Mountain League in Salt Lake City, and then, of course, the California Classic. I want to ask your thoughts on this on the Lakers game. Again, Dalton Knecht. I think Joe's right. Joe came on just before you came on and said something to the effect that he looks like he's at times the only NBA ready player or the NBA capable player for the Los Angeles Lakers. Do you have those same, as someone who sits outside of it and can see things more objectively than all of us Lakers fans, do you feel the same, or do you feel that there's someone else that might be able to develop into something of a contributor for the Los Angeles Lakers?
I agree with Joe. Right now, like, Dalton looks the most ready. After what he did today, bouncing back from the last few games, he looks pretty good. Like today, he showed that NBA ready confidence. So to me, he do look like the most ready. Then there was another kid, I can't think of his name, from the first game who played really well for the Lakers too, who I thought showed.
Well, you're talking about Maxwell Lewis, or is it Hinson? Because Maxwell Lewis, I kind of disagree with it respectfully, because he did that first quarter of that first game. Absolutely. His drives worked, and he was everything going. After that, like in the last two, there was a stretch over the course of 2 games. He was 0 of 18 coming into the second half of today's game. But then, like you said, he got on stretches today. He was 5 for 5. So it's a work in progress for Maxwell Lewis, who's a second-round pick for thing. But he does have the length, does have athletic ability. I will give you that. But defensively, him and Knecht have really got to do things a lot better because they both got blown by quite a bit, Legend.
Yeah, I saw Dalton get just blown right by just like that. Yeah. The defense is definitely
concerning to me. And this is Summer League competition.
Yeah, especially when you get the NBA competition that's even faster than what you're seeing now. Yeah.
That's a problem. That's one thing. Let's put it this way, Legend. Dalton Knecht's career, I think, will go as far as his defense will allow him. Would that be true or untrue to say?
I would say that's true, because in the NBA, you got to be able to play some defense. Unless your offense is really something special, like Luka or something, to make up for that lack of D.
Okay. Because we even saw in the finals with Luka, when he wasn't paying attention to the defensive end, when he was letting people blow by him, as far as the Celtics are concerned, or anything in the playoffs, that's when Dallas was at its worst. When Dallas was at its best, Luka became a passable or even average defender. I'm not asking Dalton Knecht to be a superior defender. It's clear that he probably will never be that in our lifetimes. But if he could just become passable or average, I think that will keep him out on the floor and will allow him to do what he does best. His stroke looks good. The results aren't there yet, but at times you can see he's a shooter. You can see he has a flow to his shot. The thing is, those shots will fall in. But will he be able to stay on the floor to do so if he can't play defense?
Yeah, NBA, you gotta be able to play some defense, and that's what people in the league really want the most. When guys can play both ends of the floor and can't just have one or the other, that defense can be a very, very big issue.
I was disappointed today by Miami's decision to sit out Khalil Ware, because I really wanted to take a good look at Khalil Ware, because he had been playing pretty good, especially his second game where it was 26 points and 12 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Against a guy like Colin Castleton, who has 6'10" and has some height. Castleton looks good against smaller competition, but I wanted to really see what he looked like against fellow 7-footers, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. Do you see a guy like Castleton actually sticking in the league, whether it's with the Lakers or someone else?
It's possible, but I would say the game got to continue to develop. And that's, to me, the biggest thing about this rookie class I really say the most is a lot of them guys, their chance to stay in the league going to really come down to how well they develop and continue to process, growing in both in muscle and the muscle your defensive game improving.
Joe's back with us. Joe, again, I mentioned to Colin Castleton, and I'm going to go ahead and also get Legends' thoughts on the Summer League so far, what he's liked and not liked. But Joe, Colin Castleton, I know he's a fringe player for us. Today he looked a little bit better, but it wasn't against Khalil Ware, the big 7-footer. Miami set him out. When he's against smaller competition, the game looks a lot easier for him, especially with his passing from the elbow. Really found some good looks with cutters underneath on that. But when he's asked to drive the basketball to the hoop, or when he's asked to play larger individuals, Joe, it gets a little bit tougher for him, doesn't it?
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not at the level, of course, of Anthony Davis, but maybe Castleton's position isn't center, it's power forward. The problem there is he's going to have to learn how to make shots from the three-point line, or at least from mid-range, to kind of keep the defense honest. And as far as him being able to drive or dribble drive to the basket, I'm not expecting him to do that kind of work. He can get the mechanics down if he works hard. There is value there if he works hard and continues to maybe get good coaching at some point here. But we don't know if that's going to happen at this moment. But I like to hold hope that there might be some potential there. Before I had to get disconnected again, I'm sorry. One of my guys was at the warehouse, and I guess he put the wrong code in. He has his own code in it. My alarms went off, so I was like, I had to get off. But the encouraging part about tonight's game was, again, the one guy that I'm going to be paying attention to this whole summer, whether here now or in Vegas, and of course during the season, is Dalton Knecht, because I think Dalton Knecht is a legitimate NBA player, and he showed in the limited amount of time I saw him play today, beyond the last shot, of course, he showed that there's something there. There's something there. Something's going to work out there if he continues again to improve and hopefully get good coaching. And this might be something that JJ Redick might be able to manage, might be able to kind of mentor. I'm not going to say he has the same game as JJ, but he is going to be relied on being that guy that can make shots in an offense that's going to be dominated by Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And, of course, them needing everyone to be honest by making those open shots.
Legend, let me ask you this. Bronny James, at times, like I said before you guys came on, I thought, again, a situation where they don't feature him much on the offensive end. So there's times where he does look, you don't see him. You don't remember he's out there. He becomes invisible out there on the court at times. 3 points. I did like the fact that he's got good hands and he's willing to work hard to keep the man in front of him at times. So defensively, it does look like it's a better work in progress on that end. Plus the fact he really has some quick hands, and is probably going to get a lot of steals and deflections in the league. But the offensive end, Legend, it looks really rough right now. And I'm not going to hide it, man. It just looks really, really rough.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I really noticed about Bronny watching these last 2 games, especially today the most. He looks pretty good on the defensive end. It's that offensive end where it's pretty rough. It needs a lot of work. And I think that's where I would probably say, yeah, we need to go to the G League and get that offense together. But the defense is definitely not bad. The defense actually looked really good.
Yeah, and that's for a team that was struggling on the defensive end for the previous 2 games, and the fact that they still have Maxwell Lewis out there giving up baskets and Dalton Knecht giving up baskets, Joe. That's the thing. I think, like I said, Bronny, he's not going to give you anything offensively at this point in time, but defensively, he does give you some fight and some grit. Problem is, though, Joe, with Dalton Knecht and Maxwell Lewis, again, it looked rough on the defensive end for both. And with Maxwell Lewis, we'll focus on him because I know you don't want to talk about Bronny much. Maxwell Lewis at one time over the course of 2 games was 0 of 18 before he finally snapped out of it in the second half. Your thoughts on Maxwell Lewis? Again, he 5 for 5 in the second half, so I want to go ahead and post at least that part about it. But you can see he has zero confidence in his outside shot, and the only way that he's going to make baskets is driving inside at this point in time.
Yeah, unfortunately, with NBA talent and NBA pressure and NBA elite, the NBA elite, he's not going to be able to do that in the regular season on a day-to-day, game-to-game basis. Maxwell Lewis, unfortunately, will not be one of those guys that makes it here. It's just not gonna work out. Bronny's the same way as well. I know that there's some good. I know that he's got the ability to hold his own. His strength, his pops is ridiculously strong. It's a talent that not a lot of people actually prop him up on enough. Is how strong LeBron James is. You can't get to the basket the way he does, even this late in his career, without being ridiculously strong. It is really hard to get to the basket, number one, in the NBA. It is really hard to get your shot off in the NBA. And then when you're good at doing both, it makes people that watch it think that it's easy. So when someone would say, well, of course he scored 40 points. He put up 30 shots. I go, have you ever tried to imagine putting up 30 shots in the NBA? Well, if I was LeBron James, I could. We'll see. You just proved my point. What about you? I'm talking about you. Could you get onto the court? Let's say you train. Let's say you really are, in shape to play basketball, but just not an NBA player. But do you think you could get off 30 shots in an NBA game? And more often than not, they'll see where I'm going with the question and go, no. I said, so now why is it different why is it that LeBron can do it, Kobe can do it, Durant can do it? Oh, well, they're tall and they start making excuses. I go, well, there's a lot of tall guys there too. You don't think that they can be a problem? So the problem here for Bronny is he's in an era of basketball where if he's not going to be able to stay in front of his guy, which we saw what Keyshawn did to him today. He absolutely served him breakfast, lunch, brunch, a snack, and dinner towards the end there. And that was really, really hard to watch. It was really hard to watch because despite the fact that it's only his 3rd game playing, this is not elite talent that's doing that to him. What's going to happen?
That shot by Williams where he actually dribbled it through his legs, then spun around Bronny for an and one. That was, I think that was message sending. That was Alondas Williams.
It's not good. It's not good, and I don't think it's going to get better, unfortunately. But this is what we're going to have to talk about because it's in front of us now. And I'm looking at the grade from the first 3 games as far as the team. I don't know that I give it a G, lower than an F. Honestly, it was 3 pretty pathetic games. Could have been a D- if they had closed this out, but that was really, really bad the way, and it almost felt like deja vu. The Lakers trickled down their inability to close out games, even down to their summer league team, and it's just very hard to watch. It was very, very hard to watch them finish that game the way they did, and you knew they weren't going to score. You could see it towards the last couple minutes. I'm like, if these guys don't stop, if they don't stop them, they're not going to score. They're not going to score the next 2 points, and they did, or the next 2 minutes, and they didn't. And we saw what happened.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is the Legend 350. Please go ahead and support him today at @the_Legend 350 on YouTube, and Joe Soro, aka Ox1947, LakersBall.com, and of course Simblades with Y.com. It's me, Gerald Glassford. Please go ahead and like and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. Kurt Affair says Sadiq Bey has agreed on a 3-year, $20 million contract with the Wizards. I know that he's coming back from a ACL injury, if I'm not mistaken, Kurt. So my best wishes to him and congratulations for him to getting on that contract. Again, legend, there has been more interest out there in some of the Summer League action before they even get to Las Vegas, which is always a good thing. What are your observations so far on teams outside of Los Angeles Lakers? Who's looked good to you and maybe not so good to you in Summer League so far?
I definitely got to say, I got to give a shout out to Memphis. Zach Edey looks good. That was a darn good pickup. He looks good.
He has already skyrocketed. As I said before, he has already skyrocketed in all the betting apps to be the favorite now for Rookie of the Year.
So I think they got to steal and manage to get him at that point.
So let me ask you this. Obviously, we saw him use his brute force and strength in Summer League the other day against Utah, getting a double-double. They did send him out the next game, which was kind of troubling. I don't like when they sit out these rookies. Give them ups. Get them up. These are the times you get them minutes to try things out. But, okay, he got the double-double. You saw him being effective against Utah. My question was, how good did he look to you athletically? Because the fact is, when it comes to down the stretch in basketball games, will they, other teams on the other side go 5 out in playoffs? Will they try to scheme him off the floor like Rudy Gobert? Rudy Gobert, for years, teams have been trying to, scheme him off the floor in late games and late in the game or in playoffs. Your thoughts on if they might do the same for Zach Edey and if that would be an effective tactic for you?
It is a possibility. They could do the same thing if he don't continue to develop on foot speed and everything onto the NBA level. Like for right now in the Summer League, he looks really good against the competition he's going against, since all the competition is pretty much like college-like level still anyway. I really want to see how you're going to look once you get to the real deal and play against NBA players and really can see what he can do. But he could become a target if you don't improve.
Bronny will become a target, that's for sure. Joe, did you get a chance to see Zach Edey in his first performance? And in doing so, were you taken away with some good impressions? I know J-Bay had him compared. This is not the first time people compared him to Zubac. Zubac lost enough weight. I think he stays out there on the floor. He's a little bit more athletic and lighter and faster. Joe, what are your thoughts on Zach Edey? Again, very powerful look against the Jazz in his first performance earlier this week.
I think he can be better. I still like the comp of Brook Lopez as his ceiling. Mm-hmm. His bottom is Jahlil Okafor. So if he can sit in the middle, he'll have a career for sure. It's going to come down to his dedication and his ability to enhance the deficiencies that he has, not because he's not good, but he has to develop the 2024, 2025 and on NBA philosophy. That if he does that, there could be some really good things there. But you are right that he will get exploited by guys that'll draw him away from the rim. He can't really guard on the perimeter. I don't know if he's going to be able to guard Embiid. I don't think he's going to be able to guard Jokic because those guys can actually go out there and hit shots. It's going to be very hard for him to kind of be an anchor on defense. He's going to be drawn out. So the only way he can limit that is if he can make guys like Embiid and Jokic work on the other side. Embiid is not a bad defender. Jokic is average at best. So you're going to have to if you're going to make your name as a big man in this league, those are your barometers, and they happen to be the last 4 MVPs. So if I'm at Edey, and we've I don't want to say we've been down on him. I believed he was more of a late first round pick based off the philosophy of the current NBA and his skill set, but he very well could change that by getting better shots and being able to guard people on the perimeter and not be tired in a 48-minute game. Those are the two things he has to do to kind of buck the original comps on who he might be.
Do you think Memphis is a good fit for him? Especially,
yes,
okay.
Absolutely. It does help to have somebody like JJ next to him. You're never going to go wrong when you have the Defensive Player of the Year next to you. You're never going to go wrong. See, that's the problem with Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota is if Gobert was with someone who wasn't such a bad defender, I think he wouldn't be as exploited as much. Because then, how do you work around that as an opposing team? They know that they can, humiliate Cat, and then at the same time, okay, we draw this one guy out. We know Cat can't really cover for him, and then, you're kind of stuck in the mud there. But for sure, Memphis is the right spot, and Ja Morant coming back to Ja Morant of 2023 before his 6-shooter, fiasco would give him an even better opportunity to enhance his talent on the team.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do unfortunately lose third game of the California Classic, 80-76 to the Miami Heat. I'm here along with Joe Soro from LakersBall.com, is Oxide247 and Simblades with a Y.com. The legend, _legend 350 on YouTube. Legend, let me ask you this. When it comes to the teams that you like, and we'll take a step outside the Lakers for a second here. So, two of the teams that you're keeping an eye on is Atlanta, obviously, with the number one pick and Zachary Risachet, and then, of course, Golden State, to the teams that you are going to keep an eye on in Summer League. What are the players that you're trying to look at the most and evaluate and get maybe a glimpse of? Remember, it also is because of the fact that it is Summer League, so you got to take it for what it's worth. But who are you looking at in Summer League?
Definitely with my Hawks, I'm really watching our number one pick. I just want to see what he can do. Just want to see what to expect from him wise going into the season, and just seeing how we can build around him, especially if we were to end up trading Trae Young. I know Trae Young's name is still in a lot of trade talks. And with the Warriors, I'm just looking for a big man, because I just want rim protection at this point. Since we picked up Buddy Hield and all, I think that was a good pickup to replace Clay. I'm really just watching for maybe somebody we can bring on that can help protect this rim, because that's, to me, is the biggest need that we need right now in Golden State, rim protection, because that's what was killing us last year the most.
It's so funny because you say that, and Clint Capella at one time was providing that, but as he gets into the twilight of his career and the final year of his contract, it's obviously going to be harder for him to sustain that level. And so I get it. Your defense in Atlanta was just not good anywhere at all, as far as the amount. One of the worst defensive teams in the league. So obviously you've got a lot to work on there, and hopefully Risachet, Okongwu, Johnson, that seems to be like a really good young front line that you may be able to rely on. But the question is, will Trae Young be the point guard to help maximize that front line, or is he the type of player that does a lot for himself?
Sometimes I'm kind of back and forth with it. I sometimes wonder about it, because he's a liability on defense big time. But I be wondering if does it really make sense to keep him around, or just trade him off, get some good asset, and just build around this younger team? Because it do look like he kind of bought himself a little bit, but at the same time, I do see some team orientated. But it's kind of hard to say about Trae Young. It is hard to say, but I almost kind of will say, if I'm the Hawks GM right now, I would give him up depending on what it is, what somebody offers me.
One thing I want to ask you, though, is with Golden State, again, a lot of uncertainty there after what they did to let basically Klay Thompson walk. They made his last year so miserable. Man, I'd love to be miserable making $43 million in my last year. Wouldn't you, Legend? Yeah, I'd be terrible. I would just be in so much misery there. Yes, absolutely. I understand it's the relative what his life was like before. I get it. I'm just teasing when I say that. But it is, of course, Golden State heading into a period of uncertainty. I like some of the pickups that they made. DeAnthony Melton, they've got Buddy Hield, so they will have shooting and maybe some defense to replace, of course, Klay Thompson. But who are you looking at in Summer League that may actually shine out, that may be able to give the team an unexpected boost like Trace Jackson Davis did and Podziemski did for the Warriors last season?
I'm watching a lot of our centers and shooting guards. That's what I'm probably watching the most. Anybody off of them two positions, the most is what I'm probably watching. Just because it'll match what we need for the overall team wise. And I think the Warriors would love to probably find a really good young rim protector. That'll be awesome. Somebody you can build off of. Because I know centers are very hard to come by right now. So I feel like that probably
that's why they're being overpaid right now. When Goga Batadze gets a 3-year deal, I believe, and he was a guy that was waived by Indiana, that tells you something right there, my friend.
Yeah, it's like a rare species right now.
Yes. So we'll definitely see what happens trying to find a good big man in Golden State. Obviously, that's a key to their success or possible success going forward. But bringing it back to what you're seeing in Summer League, one team I want to go ahead and cover is what has already been mentioned in the chat, the Philadelphia 76ers, who still can't field a full roster of players yet. They still don't have a full roster team, but two players that they do have on that team is Jared McClain and also as well Adam Bona. Your thoughts on them? Have you had a chance to see them as far as how they played? Okay, because they've been pretty impressive, but the team that's as financially structured, because they went all in on going on a big 3 in Philadelphia, and basically they're doing the Phoenix plan of let's go ahead and get big 3 and let's take our chances on everyone else. A couple rookies like that, both the first and second rounders, they can play some meaningful time up here coming up in this fall.
If they want to trust that process and go for it, man, I say go for it. But
I like that word that you use for Philly, process.
We seen how they play it out. We seen this movie before with Phoenix, and it came down pretty bad. Well,
again, yeah, Philadelphia does have some roster spots to fill. Kurt, the only way I do that is that they pay me an obscene amount of money. And if that's the case, then I may consider it. But Joe, welcome back, my friend. I want to go ahead and get your thoughts back on to the Lakers. The Lakers, once again, lose 80-76. Again, we'll be on later tonight. I'll send the link out to you, Legend, too, if you want to jump on with us late with Team USA in Canada. And you can also share some additional Summer League thoughts if you want at that time as well. But Joe, again, the Lakers head to Vegas 0-3. And I understand it's not always about wins and losses. It's who looks like they're progressing, who looks like they're doing better. But in the case of the Lakers, after getting thumped twice and then finding a way to control most of the game and then blowing it late, I don't see much confidence for this team heading to Las Vegas.
I don't think it's confidence. I think it's just the inability to play at this level. It's what it is, folks. There's some guys that can play at this level and some can't. They can obviously play in Summer League, but I'm basing their performance off of is there something there that can be used in a real NBA game? And most, unfortunately, don't have that. There's just really 1.5 guys on this team that have a shot of being on a roster and actually earning minutes and them being validated for it and them validating it. It's hard. It's hard for some of these guys to play. They're not shot makers. They're not particularly really, really athletic. Size is not really helping anybody. I don't see any of these guys other than Knecht and maybe Castleton, maybe in a year where I could say, you know what, he's a 11, 12 guy on a roster, and I can see him playing consistent minutes during the year just to kind of cover some injuries and also maybe play backup if he matches up well with somebody. But anyone else, I just don't see it, folks. I don't. And Bronny James and his defense, I just don't see. Even if he does play defense well, I don't see the NBA allowing him to be. I don't see his defense being Marcus Smart defense. I don't know who said that. I thought that was kind of a distant Marcus Smart.
Slow down
Yeah,
on
Marcus Smart,
comparisons.
from the moment he left Oklahoma State, looked like a Rottweiler that will eat you alive. Now he looks like a Rottweiler that's 5, 6, 10 years old in dog years, and he looks like he'll eat your whole family. And I don't look at Bronny James that way. And by the way, when I say that about Marcus Smart, I say it as a compliment, because you just look at him and his genetics, the way his head is, the way his body's built, it's just, I feel like he was born too late. If he had been born in the 90s, he would have been much more celebrated, and the game at that time would have been more to his liking, and he would have got more attention, which goes to show you how amazing he is, because he did win Defensive Player of the Year as a perimeter player, which is rare. He was even rarer then and rare now. Just imagine if he was actually able to play defense and not have to be relied on the offense, which is what was hurting Boston the last few years. They couldn't get him to hit shots the deeper they got into the playoffs, but his defense was good. But as far as Bronny being of that ilk, I'm sorry, I don't see it.
So let me ask you this, Legend. And once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. Don't forget, later tonight, we'll be back for Team USA and Canada. We recap that game today. Just to give everybody a heads up, Kawhi Leonard, as was mentioned in the chat, has decided to not continue playing for Team USA. And it looks like the team would pick up Derek White, much to the chagrin of Jaylen Brown on Twitter, as you've seen on Twitter already. He's not exactly the most thrilled guy about that decision. I'm sure Jalen Brunson's probably not thrilled with it either, but Derek White moves on to Team USA. But Legend, let me ask you this. I know Summer League should not be the end-all, be-all. Guys who perform in Summer League don't always translate when it gets to later on in the year when the season starts. Our own Max Christie, I mean, he lit it up last year in Summer League and did nothing for us all virtually during the course of the season. But sometimes it works the other way around. Guys who struggle in Summer League suddenly come to life once the basketball starts being played and starts counting for real. How much do you take away from performances in Summer League? Because remember, talking back about your thoughts on Zach Edey, looked good in the limited amount of time. He didn't play again today in today's game, so he's missed 2 games with injury or illness. So he's only played in 1 game. But let me ask your thoughts. How much do you take away from performances during the course of Summer League?
I would say I would take it as a grain of salt. I look at it as a way of just seeing what you look like and what you can do. But I won't take your performance, whether it's really good or really bad. I won't really take it to heart or take it too serious, just because of, pretty much like you said, we don't see so many people who looked really good in Summer League, going to the regular season, don't know where they went MIA, or they played very bad in the Summer League, and then all of a sudden, in the regular season, they show up, they come to the party. So I kind of look at the Summer League as just a warm up, seeing what you look like, seeing what you can do, what you can't do, seeing what can be polished, and then really see what you look like when the season starts, the real test.
So I bring the question to you, Joe. How much should you, or how much do you take away from performances in Summer League? Like, for instance, last year's Summer League, when we got a good long look at some of the players there that eventually didn't do much on the big roster.
If you base it off last year, we were right in line with what they ended up performing at during the regular season. If you look back in the history of Summer League, we had the greatest Summer League player of all time in Lonzo Ball, and Lonzo Ball hasn't been able to stay healthy. Kuzma also had great Summer League games. Matter of fact, I believe that team, there were several guys: Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Kyle
Ivica
Kuzma,
Zubac.
Ivica Zubac. I mean, these guys made Summer League, I think, go up. They were the Caitlin Clark of Summer
I
League
was
at
there.
that point. And
I
it
was
just
there.
kept getting better and better every year. We were getting so excited. We had 3 straight two overall picks, and it just kept building. And, of course, the ice in your veins started from a last-second shot that D'Angelo Russell hit. It was very exciting. I was enjoying Summer League more than I was enjoying the regular season during that time. No joke. And a lot of those guys have had good careers, all-stars, some of them are champions as well.
Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram's had a, good, he's got a solid career going. But if you look at the entire scope, let's say since 2017, who out of our Summer League roster guys has really kind of ascended? I'd say the most important one was probably Alex Caruso. And unfortunately, we let him go. Austin Reeves, I don't really remember him performing in a way where I noticed it like I did with Lonzo and Kuzma and D'Angelo. But there's been some good players that have developed from it, shown us a little bit. But at the same time, you've also had guys that have kind of shown something and not gone well. And then there's some guys that have not done well and then really not done well. It's a crapshoot. It's a little taste. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, just like everything else. And in this case, this might be the worst Summer League team I've seen in a while. So I'm not expecting them to do anything because they're just not talented enough. It's just what it is. I don't see how it's going to change in Vegas either.
I don't see how it is either. And probably for at least one of those games, I will be seeing it up close, whether I may regret to do so, traveling out there in 120-degree heat. We'll see. But yes, I will let everyone know what day I'm going to be heading out there. I don't know which one yet, but I will be heading out there for at least one of the days of Summer League. So if you see me out there, want to say hi, I'll be glad to go ahead and chat with you when you're there. So absolutely would take the time to go ahead and maybe see you out there for Summer League. But Legend, let's go ahead. Speaking of Vegas, speaking of the Thomas and Mack, actually my daughter and my in-laws are heading there now, roasting in the heat, probably in the parking lot, but heading to the Thomas and Mack to go see Team USA versus Team Canada later tonight. You heard the news about Kawhi Leonard, who has decided that his knee is too tricky. What should not have even done in the first place. I don't even know why he even. My God, man, just why? What were you trying to prove? It makes no sense at all. Your thoughts, the way they constructed this team, I don't know. It seems to me like the same way Rob, he constructed the team based on names in 2022 when he got that team that was like the oldest team ever in the NBA. But I think this team will still get it done, but they will find some challenges along the way. But your thoughts? Did they pick the best players to represent Team USA this time around?
I want to say for the most part, I feel like they have. If anybody, I was a little surprised to see that didn't make the cut. I was very surprised Jaylen Brown name didn't get on there. So I was a little surprised of that.
Brunson finished top 5 in the MVP and he sat home watching the games. So I don't know. I just kind of that one's kind of puzzling too. But your thoughts? I mean, let me go ahead.
Yeah, I would say like Jaylen Brown. I was a little surprised to see his name, especially when we had Kawhi, which I don't know why he even went out in the first place either. But especially when he left, I was thinking like, okay, you might get Jaylen Brown or somebody to replace him. But it went with Derek White, which is cool.
He was the Finals MVP, Legend. That's all. Wasn't anybody important. So
yeah, but I would say they got for the most part. Most everybody would think you should have on the team. Might have been a few other stars you could ask, but for the most part, I think they got the best of the best. They should be able to get it done. Gonna be some challenges. I don't see this team just running over everybody, but should be some challenges.
Joe, let me bring it to you. Tonight is the first game for Team USA. Again, they are favored to go ahead and win it all. I'm not going to go ahead and dissuade on that fact. I do think they are the favorites and should be the favorites, but there is some age on this team. There is some injury risk, like, for instance, how long is and how much can Joel Embiid give you, seeing that he gets seemingly injured a lot. You and I both are concerned about how much LeBron and AD will play, because that's only going to make them even more fatigued heading into the season. Your thoughts on Team USA as it heads into its first game tonight?
I think it's balanced. You have the best players really there that are American. Anthony Davis is still in his prime, in my opinion. You have Anthony Edwards, who's about to come into probably his prime here. Devin Booker's in his prime. Bam Adebayo is a good defender and a good player. Jason Tatum is a good player. LeBron is still doing pretty well. I wouldn't say he's in his prime, but he's kind of like primeless. Then you have guys like Drew Holiday, who are dogs, who you can sick on, whomever the best offensive player it is in whatever country they're playing. Joel Embiid is, I don't know how his health is, but if he's healthy, that's a huge one as well. Kevin Durant's going to still play well. You got Steph Curry. Derek White's a good addition for chemistry purposes, because you do now have 3 Celtics on this team. So, that's going to be an easy transition for some of the guys on there. The world is caught up, but I believe the only time, I know 04 was bad, 06 too, but the reason why the Lakers lost, the reason why the USA lost in 04 is because Kobe wasn't on that team. And in 06, same thing. When Kobe showed up in 08, they ended up winning. And they played a very, very, very good Spain team in the gold medal game. If Kobe's not on that team again, they don't probably beat. As good as Dwayne Wade was in that Olympics too, he might have been the best player of the Olympics that year. You don't have Kobe on that 08 team. Redeem team would be the silver team. Sometimes it just takes that one extra guy that can take you over the hump. And other than that, in my lifetime, when the Americans are focused and ready to play in the Olympics, they usually win it. And I'm not expecting anything less at this point. I believe they will win the gold medal. And my hope is that LeBron and AD can do it without killing themselves too much.
That's my hope as well, because I'm worried about injury. Legend, I know that's something that you and I have talked about, just a few minutes ago in regards to the age and the injury factor. I think that's ultimately what will stop USA from winning the gold. If that's the case, I still put them as my favorites. And I think, again, it'll be up to themselves to stay focused and stay healthy enough to go ahead and win in Paris. But my gosh, they're playing a team tonight in Canada with a backcourt of Jamal Murray and SGA. You've got a great backcourt in Canada. I was listening to the Hoop Collective. They said if you could combine the backcourt in Canada and the front court in France, you would have a team that would be pretty tough to beat. But because you don't, Team USA should still be out in front when all is said and done, Legend.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I feel like they will both combine together. I'll be a little nervous, but for the most part, they should be able to handle business without no problem. Gonna be interesting to see how Jamal Murray and everyone else play in all the other countries. See everyone playing for their country, but the most important part, I'll probably worry the most, is definitely the health part. Knowing that the team is definitely older, and we know how AD them history is, and even Steph history with his ankles and all, to Joel Embiid history. Yeah, I'll be a little worried about the injuries part, but fingers crossed they're going to go through the whole process. Everybody be good, come back, start the regular season at 100%, hopefully.
We'll see. But before we head on out, Legend, before I turn it to Joe for some final comments on today, before we come back tonight, Legend, how can people get a hold of you on your great YouTube channel, _Legend 350, and what you're up to there?
Well, if anyone interested in checking me out, my name on the screen, pretty much type that in, go straight to my channel. If you come to my channel, you will see plenty content. I do my NBA podcast every other day when I have time. Do a lot of my anime content, a lot of my video game content as well. Just did a recent video just yesterday talking about Xbox news. And then I just did like a short just yesterday over the
Price
Rookie of the Year
going
WNBA.
up. Yeah, not liking that, Legend. I'm not liking the fact Game Pass goes up.
Yeah, I was surprised at that one, but
that with Call of Duty around the corner, I'm not that surprised. So.
I think they're gonna drop Modern Warfare 3 in there too. I think now
they're gonna have to drop the whole line if they're going to go up to $20 a month for day one releases. Yeah, they kind of played around with the certain levels for Xbox Games Pass. As far as what that will get day one releases and what will not, kind of like not liking that either. There's a lot of, I guess, brush back on that as well. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, but the Legend, _Legend 350. That's where people can find you on YouTube.
Yes, sir. You can find me on YouTube, right on top of the screen.
A Legend, always great to have you here. I will send out the link for tonight. I know you're on the East Coast, so if you're still up, my friend, please join us for the post game. I'll send that out to you. Joe, any last thoughts on today's game? Another loss for the Lakers, heading to Vegas now after a not so classic California Classic.
Stop playing Bronny 30 minutes. Please. Play him 20 minutes. That's it.
I would say do the same for Lewis, but then again, they don't have many alternatives.
I wouldn't play Lewis. He's had enough. He's had enough. He's had enough shots. Just do what you're doing with Knecht. I think Knecht is your guy right now. Try to do as much to find out who he is and how he can improve. And the more court time that guy has between now and training camp, the better. And he has shown so far that should he stay healthy, he is going to be a rotational player in the NBA and a good one.
Well, there you have it. The Lakers unfortunately do lose, giving up the final 12 points in the fourth quarter, 80-76. We will be back here in just a few hours after the game tonight between Team USA and Team Canada. So please watch that game. And then we want to share your thoughts out there. Please, always right here in the best Lakers chat room that's out there, LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. And of course, always, whether it's later tonight or every day we're here, we provide the best NBA, Lakers, and Team USA news right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.
Uh.